Attention all new recruits and incoming Xbox divers. This is a mandatory briefing to prepare you for the basics when it comes to completing primary objectives on the battlefield. The following information applies to missions ranging from difficulty rating 1, trivial, to 5, hard, with some indication on requirements for higher difficulties. Pay close attention and you may just survive out there. Let's begin.
Helldivers to Hellpods. Repeat, Helldivers to Hellpods.
Sometimes we must remind the galaxy that democracy reigns supreme. This is accomplished through the Spread Democracy mission, which is indicated by the flag symbol when viewing an operation on the galactic map. These missions are necessary against all enemy fronts and all mission types. Your goal is but one: raise the flag of Super Earth. The number of flags you'll need to raise depends on the difficulty. Trivial through medium requires you to raise just one flag. Challenging through suicide requires 2. Impossible through Super Helldive requires 3. You have a total of 40 minutes to complete this mission. Once you reach the objective point, a Super Earth flag stratagem will appear in your stratagem list. The pod deploys in the middle of the objective zone, usually near a breathtaking Helldiver sculpture. A monument to liberty, so glorious it would make the Greeks of old Earth weep. A rover pops out and hovers around the slow but steady pole rising from within the pod. During this time, at least one Helldiver has to stay within the objective range. If you can hear the sweet sound of the Super Earth anthem, you're in range. If everyone leaves the objective zone, the pod retracts the flag, and a Helldiver must re-enter the zone for the flag to begin rising again. It takes the flag about 1 minute and 40 seconds to cap. Then, mission complete. This time is reduced by 15% if one Helldiver shows their respect and salutes the flag while it rises. Each additional Helldiver saluting reduces the time by a further 7.5%. However, like ants to sugar, tyranny swarms at the scent of democracy, ready to shred it into bite-sized niblets. Your squad must protect the flag at all costs. Democracy will not spread while enemies deface the proud banner of Super Earth. Once the flag is up and free of tyranny, the flag crowns. Your mission is accomplished. With the Illuminate, the mission is called Free Colony. The goal remains the same: raise Super Earth's flag. But now you also have to destroy the monolith. The order doesn't matter. For the monolith, once you get close enough, you can call down a Hellbomb stratagem to wipe it from the face of democracy. With the flag raised and the monolith obliterated, you can call it a day, Helldiver.
E710 is what keeps the wheels of the galactic war machine turning. That's why it's a high priority mission for young, fresh cadets in both trivial and easy missions. Represented by an E710 droplet on the galactic map, this mission is found on both automaton-occupied and Terminate-infested planets. Bots and bugs have a nasty habit of disabling fuel pumps, or at least preventing their safe operation, so it's up to us to get them back online. Again, you have 40 minutes to complete this mission. Upon reaching the objective zone, Helldivers must activate a terminal, following the prompts as they appear on the display. One of the prompts requires redirecting the fuel lines from local storage to the fuel target by adjusting segments of pipe on the display. You will need to divert fuel from local storage to the storage station. Next, you or a squad mate must locate 3 valves and turn their wheels to open the fuel lines. Once the indicator light changes from red to green, the valve is open and fuel is able to flow freely. Finally, interact with the terminal once again to complete the process. As a side note, starting fuel pumps is a sub-objective in launch ICBM missions rated 7 or higher. And we can assure you that in these conditions, the stakes are much, much higher. Without E710, our FTL drives cannot function, and we cannot dominate the galaxy. Do your part, and allow the lifeblood of the Federation to flow in defiance of tyranny.
As perfect and incomparable as managed democracy is, we still find dissidents within our ranks who spread propaganda like an infection to weaken our resolve. And believe it or not, sometimes it comes in the form of illegal broadcasts. What do these messages say? It doesn't matter, but we know it's nothing more than lies and xenophobic filth. What does matter is that they're stomped out with the antibiotics of freedom and liberty within 40 minutes. On bug and bot infested planets, you'll find these missions, Terminate Illegal Broadcast, clearly marked with an image of a satellite dish. This is a primary mission on trivial and easy difficulties, but a secondary objective on higher levels. Once you locate the tower, there are 2 methods for stopping the broadcast. For stealth, use the terminal at the base of the tower following the prompts to shut everything down. For more flair, and for the sake of expediency, blow the damn thing to hell using any destructive method you deem fit. For reference, a single autocannon round to the upper part of the tower should be more than enough to stop the broadcast. You're free to use any ordnance though. 500 kg bombs, orbital barrages, the choice is yours, Helldivers. Be aware of any enemies in the vicinity, but you can complete these objectives from a fair distance if the broadcast tower is in your line of sight. Good luck out there, Helldivers.
Another mission you'll find on all fronts is the Upload Escape Pod data objective. If you haven't already guessed, the mission involves finding a crashed escape pod and uploading the data it contains. This is a primary objective up to medium difficulty. On higher levels, it appears as a secondary objective. As usual, you have 40 minutes to locate the pod and upload the data. The pod is similar in size to a Hellpod and can be found lying mostly on its side, protruding from the impact point in the planet's surface. Once a Helldiver is within range of the pod, they are prompted to upload the data with a stratagem code. This process takes about 30 seconds, and just like the Spread Democracy mission, Tyranny can sense a democratic disturbance on the surface. Helldivers must stay near the pod as enemies encroach and attempt to disrupt the upload process. Failing this, the signal will be lost, and you'll have to start the upload process from scratch. Once the data fully uploads, your mission is complete. Although this mission type is fairly rudimentary, it is still vital to our operations, ensuring we learn everything we can about our enemies so that they never gain the upper hand.
Just because we're in the middle of a galactic war, protecting Super-Earth from 3 merciless enemy factions doesn't mean Helldivers can't lend their talents to assist the Ministry of Science collect soil samples to verify soil composition, and maybe find out what's going on beneath a planet's surface. Hint, it's usually not very democratic. What we're talking about is the Conduct Geological Survey mission found on bot and bug planets. You'll know it when you see the symbol, which kinda looks like a mountain on the galactic map. Because this calls for a Helldiver with a bit more finesse, this mission starts at medium difficulty. You have 40 minutes to complete the mission, which requires 2 steps. First, locate the survey site, or sites. Medium through extreme missions have 1, while suicide and higher have 2. You'll easily recognize them since they look like bullseyes on the map. These can be a bit tricky to pinpoint within the objective zone, but once they're found, a stratagem code called Seismic Probe will appear. Once the probe lands, a Helldiver must follow the prompts on the terminal attached to it. Yet again, this is another mission that attracts Tyranny like a mindless enemy of Super-Earth to a Tesla tower. Once the probe activates, the fight to defend the mission objectives begins. When all probes are successfully deployed, the final objective to acquire soil scan data becomes available. It's the same symbol seen on the galactic map, the trapezoid laying eggs inside a triangle, I think. When a Helldiver locates the drill within the objective area, the prospecting drill stratagem will appear. Call down the drill and engage the terminal to begin the activation process. Similar to the seismic probes, enemies will attack relentlessly in a futile attempt to impede our freedom. Fight off those fascists and protect the drill at all costs. It must collect 3 samples, and you have to activate the drill each time. The drill takes approximately 25 seconds to acquire each sample. With all 3 samples collected, all that's left is for the Helldiver to get back to the terminal and upload the sample data. And with that, this more challenging mission is complete. Truly, there are none that can escape Liberty's divine light.
Another mission request from the Ministry of Science is for Helldivers to retrieve valuable data from all 3 factions on the galactic front, marked with an up arrow on the galactic map. This mission becomes available on medium difficulty, and low-level missions only have 2 steps. Step 1. Collect the encrypted hard drive marked with a down arrow on the mission map. When you reach the objective zone, search for the SSD container. You'll have no choice but to personally carry it to the local relay site. And no, for some reason you cannot take it with you in an FRV, which we don't really understand. Take note that, while holding the SSD, Helldivers only have access to their secondary weapon, so keep this in mind. Of course, you can temporarily drop the SSD to fire back at enemies if need be. Just don't forget to pick up the SSD before you depart. Also remember that the map will not update and show you have completed this first objective until the SSD is transferred into its corresponding hatch. Head toward the local relay site and place the SSD in the open hatch. Immediately thereafter, access the terminal. First, you'll have to raise the nearby satellite dish and turn it using the attached wheel until it's facing the general direction indicated on the panel. If you can't remember which direction it's supposed to face, keep turning until you hear an electronic beep or chirp. Then finish setting up the transmission to the Super-Earth mainframe and transfer the data, which will take about 40 seconds. After the data has been successfully transferred, wipe the drive. With that over, you're free to evacuate, Helldiver. Knowledge is power, and data is everything. So just know that Super Earth and its people thank you for your dedicated service, brave warriors.
No role is more vital for a Helldiver than protecting the proud citizens of Super Earth. When a planet becomes overrun with the forces of tyranny, an emergency evacuation mission almost always becomes necessary. Note, this is not to be confused with the Evacuate Colonists mission, which is similar in scope, but ultimately quite different. The galactic map symbol for this mission type is a shield with 7 dots curved along the bottom. There's no way you'll mistake it for anything else. But the Federation of Super Earth won't leave the lives of its citizens in the hands of just any Helldiver fresh out of BT. They must prove themselves and be advanced enough to tackle medium-level missions at the very least before attempting such a feat. First, Helldivers must activate the communications tower marked by a down arrow on the mission map. Medium to extreme missions only have 1 communications tower. However, missions on Suicide and higher have 2. When a Helldiver is in range of a communications tower, they are provided with an SSD delivery stratagem code. For smoother mission progression, call down the SSD before getting on the terminal and call it in as close to the SSD hatch as possible. After locating the hatch and calling down the SSD, find the terminal and follow the prompts. When directed, get a squad mate to insert the SSD into the SSD hatch, or do it yourself if you have to. Either way, you'll have to get back to the terminal and continue following the instructions. Once the communication uplink is established on the towers, head toward the citizen evacuation site. Access the terminal located in front of the evacuation building and follow the prompts to open the shuttle bay door. You will be notified of the number of citizens who must evacuate safely. Before opening the bunker doors, ensure the area between them and the shuttle bay door is clear of enemy forces. The loss of citizens will count against your overall performance score. In fact, for each citizen killed, you and your squad mates will lose 25 requisition, so tread carefully when helping the Federation's citizens. Note that after 3 citizens exit the bunker, the doors will automatically lock for 33 seconds. This is approximately how long it takes for one batch to reach the evacuation door, so results may vary depending on the situation. All you really need to know is that once the required number of citizens have safely evacuated, your mission is effectively complete. Remember, soldiers, their lives are in your hands, and you have 40 minutes on the clock. There really is no time to waste. Also, a final note, do not attempt to ride the evacuation shuttle unless you're looking for an early and painful retirement. You've been warned.
And finally, troops, when your commitment to managed democracy demands a grand gesture, we present Launch ICBM. Yes, that's the mission with the Intercontinental Ballistic Missile as the icon on the galactic map. Again, you need to be a Helldiver capable of handling medium-level missions to be trusted with the task of launching an ICBM. No beginners allowed. Only found on planets polluted by bugs or bots, you are given a total of 40 minutes to complete this mission. On medium to challenging missions, you will only need to retrieve the launch codes necessary to access the terminal and launch the ICBM. Higher difficulties become more complex, but those details will be elaborated on when we cover higher difficulty missions in another training video in the future. So the launch code site is shown as a down arrow on the mission map. In the objective area, you must retrieve the launch codes that appear in the form of a purple glowing hard drive. With the codes, you'll be able to head toward the launch site, marked on the map by a missile symbol. Simply activate the terminal and follow the prompts. You will then be asked to input the 5-digit launch code. Check the top right side of your screen in case you don't know where to look. Continue following the prompts until you are told to disengage the 4 locks around the missile silo itself. This is done manually, so you or a squad mate must perform this critical task to prepare the ICBM for launch. Once all locks are disengaged, you will then need to complete the terminal prompts. Finally, when the countdown from 10 begins, get the hell out of Dodge. It's no secret that the missile's rocket boosters pack quite a punch, so if you stand too close, you'll be incinerated for sure. After launching the missile, stand back and watch the fireworks as it detonates on the horizon. We recommend saluting patriotically for maximum Hell Aura points. With that, your mission is complete, and the tyrannical enemies of humanity are a few less thanks to your selfless efforts. Well, troops, that brings this beginner's guide to general mission objectives to an end. Which mission is your favorite? And do you have any tips for your fellow Helldivers? Let us know in the comments below. Also, would you like to see similar videos on bug, bot, and/or squid primary objectives? Again, just let us know in the comments. The Xbox Divers will be here in less than 3 weeks. Until such time, and even after, we promise to keep doing our part to preserve our way of life. With that, we bid you a fond farewell. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again, brave Helldivers. Happy hunting for Super Earth and democracy.